bastard.
Alright, we're live. Fantastic.
Right, these are here. Factory here. Right. Nearly.
While we're doing the sprint as well, Batty, I'll send you this because I actually haven't seen this today.
Okay.
Sports. It's in the game.
That was what got put in today.
Okay. Oh, the update? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you'd done a massive rule change there.
No.
Right, let's check. Chizzy here. Right. Right. Okay, rise here. Adversary here. Shadow gunner here.
Bum, 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 bum.
The only one I don't have is Jago. Unless he's called something else. See if I can find him on Xbox. Jago.
There is a smudge on my TV that I cannot get rid of, by the way. That's really pissing me off. What is that? It's like a burn mark. What is it? It won't go.
I'll leave him out. The fuck's Jamie Scott?
Oh, you're getting the me treatment of people using different names, are you? Smashing that?
Yeah.
It's that Jamie Dodger guy.
Someone asked, Dan, is the F1 league without assists or with?
There's minimums, but I mean, very loose restrictions.
There you go. Hope that answers your question.
Like, there's plenty of people on full traction and stuff like that. So
Storky here. No.
You said, like, I mean the track line one specifically. That's what you said back.
Oh, the racing line? Yeah, that's all. You can use it.
He said others I usually have them off. That's what he said.
Kieran 0. Liam 0. Eddie 0. Bench. Yeah. They're missing Jago, DJ Class, and Storky. DJ Class is here.
How many we got on the grid tonight?
17.
70.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, you doing well here, Daniel.
Thank you.
Nice, mate. You get involved, sorry. I know you wanted to get involved with the Madden, and then you changed your mind. But the F1, GP1, GP2, if you're comp, you want to call it that, if you're amateur, you want to get in, come through and play, man, every Wednesday. And then on VFL nights when there's FIFA and stuff on, like when we get our cup games going, they start right after.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Jesus Christ, that took me by surprise, Kieran. You're actually awake. My goodness me. A rarity, son. You need to finish the race tonight, Kieran. You are going to lose this championship if you keep on having moments where you crash out or have bad ones and then you just refuse to finish. Trust me, I've seen it happen in the last 3 years. People will lose championships by 3, 4, 5 points. And you'll be sat there in 5 weeks' time asking yourself, why didn't I just finish the race? Trust me, it does happen. don't know if this will interest you, Dan, by the way, but MB has just randomly right now put up Trayvon Walker on the block. I don't know, that's something you'd be interested in.
Me and what draft capital?
That's fair. No, it's a valid reply.
Me and what hope?
I don't have a pick in this upcoming draft until the 4th round, so.
I'm the same, dude. I'm right there with you. I got 4, 5, 5, 6. So, you know.
Knew it.
Okay, that's the fucking scene.
Great.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Ryan. I'll read that out to the party as well, so they can't hear what the
Great.
sub message says. It says, Hector is going to be running the 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines. On top of that, he just came into Harry's and ordered 3 T66 turbos with NOS and a Motec system exhaust.
Nose and a Motec system
I
exhaust.
fuck, not a clue,
Shout out,
Ryan.
Hector.
Not a clue. Shout out fucking Hector.
Well, it's a fuck. Yeah, okay.
It's just fucking Ryan, man. Don't question it. Just don't question it in the slightest. There you go. I've gained that 6 pick there from Jamie because Aloha Gilman has gone back home. He had a short holiday at Vegas and then off back he pops. All right. You didn't do anything, Batty? Spam anyone, scream at anyone, or nah?
No, it's Stocky and Jago, but I don't think any of them are on. Either of them are actually
Wait,
online.
T-Stocky?
Yeah.
I can bell him for you. T-Stock. Oi, where are you? There we go. So, there's VFL F1. Yes, every Wednesday. Jamie said he just realised that we run an F1 league. I couldn't imagine Jamie behind the wheel of a car. Wow. All right, so the first sprint race of the season. How many sprint races are there since we're in week 5? You're only doing 2, Danny. You're doing more.
There's 3.
There's 3, okay. So this week and then one of the others.
This week, and then we've
Weeks-
got
week 7 and week 9?
Yeah, so week 5, which is this week.
Yeah.
Week 9 at the Netherlands, and the final race of the season in Austin.
Okay, well that could be big for points on the board, and that's decent.
Yep.
All right, so, yeah, so we talked about it off stream, but the way that they changed sprint races, I'm not too sure if I'm, a fan of the new system or of the old system. But I want it to get involved and try and remain optimistic. But great lobby of people again. Keiran back. You've got Chizzy, you've got Tiller, you've got all the boys that are usual suspects here to compete. Of course, no Dom Parry. We knew Dom Parry wasn't a permanent fixture in the grid. We understood that, but it was nice to have Dom Parry around. Hopefully, maybe make a couple more races before the end of the season. So the old rivalry of VRL Keiran and Chizzy will renew here today. Shadow's going to have a good race as well last week. I think, again, you'll be keeping your eye on guys like Craigar. Maybe even someone like Neddy if he can get his stuff going. So obviously, besides the sprint, we can talk about the sprint a little bit, but Qatar as a track in general, is this a fan favorite? Is it a hated track? Is this going to be a night of crashes of safety cars, or what do you think?
It's not really designed for cars. Just in general, it's one of my favourite tracks ever on a motorbike.
Okay.
But on this game, it is fucking terrible. So, and I think it's mainly just down to how fast these cars actually are, and the amount of downforce they have, compared to other disciplines. There's many a corner on this track that are just flat out where, if you're going to take them in endurance or DTM or, MotoGP, they're not flat out. So, this is a track that's surely going to be about not making a mistake and not getting a penalty, because there's going to be time penalties galore on this track with the amount of corners that you run wide on, and if you can not get any penalties and stay within, you're probably looking at a podium. So Yeah.
I think with this as well, I think you said earlier on, didn't you, before we came on stream, that you were almost a little bit playfully annoyed at Dan putting this as a sprint tonight. You said this is one of the hardest tracks on the game to overtake on. So are you expecting this to be like another Monaco situation where it's very kind of linear and it's very kind of, I don't know, methodical, where any overtakes are going to be deemed as a big deal? Or do you think there's going to be the potential of a lot of changing of positions in this one tonight?
I think, yeah, most overtakes are going to be done out of, you know, the car ahead kind of making a mistake, somebody taking the corner too wide. Like, mistakes do happen. It's a very kind of precision heavy track. You know, if you're a wee bit off on a certain couple of corners, it can cost you like half a second, if not more. But like just sheer racing, like the main straight is not long enough unless you're right on the rear wing of somebody. You don't get a good enough exit out of the final corner, really. So it's difficult to overtake on the straights, but you know, putting people under pressure in the corners is probably your best bet here. It's not, you know, quite as mundane as Monaco is. You know, like you're not gonna
I don't think Monaco is mundane
unless you put them in the wall.
I just think Monaco is never going to be mundane because of the reputation of Monaco. I don't think. I look forward to Monaco personally. I think.
I love it. Yeah, I love it as a commentator, but as an actual racer, it's very mentally challenging. But it's probably like the most rewarding if you get a good result.
Yeah.
Like nothing hits better than a win at Monaco, like on the game. So,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Anything there to add from you, Dan? Any differing thoughts or shared thoughts on the track of Qatar tonight, or?
No, I think, you know, kind of his point earlier, you're going to see a lot of these corners where they don't look like they should be flat out, but somehow they are. And, you know, on any other car, any other division of motor racing it's never flat out, and these guys are just able to leave the throttle pin. So, you know, you're going to get a lot of that. It's very likely that we could see a lot of trains forming, and trains can sometimes cause chaos, and I think that's where the chances for these guys are going to take place over the course of this race.
It's fair. And of course, so again, explain to people that may be listening here, Dan, that don't know too much about the sprint change system. Just go over it again for us. So different from last year, different from years before. What does the sprint do for people in the in GP1 tonight?
Yeah, so the sprint in previous years, it would set the starting order for the main race. So what ended up happening though is that people would be really, really, really safe, because you make one mistake in that sprint race and all of a sudden you find yourself at the back of the field for, you know, 50, 60, 70 laps somewhere. So they redid the system. They said, right, we're going to break it into two different formats. So we're going to have a sprint qualifying. We're going to have a normal qualifying, which is exactly what we're going to have here tonight. Points given out from 8th place down, just as they do in real life. So first place will get 8 points, second place 7 points, onwards and so forth. And then we'll conclude the sprint session and then head into our normal weekend partakings of the 18-minute qualifying and normal race distance.
There you go. And of course, it's good news if you're someone like T Stocky or someone that's maybe running a little bit late. If anything, today this is the kind of race where you want to maybe see a sprint take place, because although maybe you miss out on a couple of the extra points, you do have time still to kind of get on and get through the door for the actual race. Again, every point is going to be pivotal, especially tonight for Keiran. Saw him last week. Had the incident early on, I think 4 or 5 laps, and ended up retiring in the pits rather than complete the race. And a sprint here tonight, a good chance to pick up those points that he missed out on last week, especially with Chizzy finishing second. Puts more pressure on him. What is the championship looking like right now, Dan? What is the point differential between first and second at this minute in time?
Yeah, so Chizzy's leading from Tilla by 19 points.
Okay.
And then Keiran occupies that third spot. He's 25 points back of Chizzy. So definitely still in the conversation. But, he's that race that he slept through, and then last week's Bonanza where he crashed out. It's already coming back to bite him, and when you only have 12 races in a season, that adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. So he has to kind of keep his composure and keep his head tonight, and if he doesn't, then it may well be curtains early on for Keiran. So who knows? But definitely an open feel to the season, as we said, with Lewis Welch kind of not returning. There is this kind of optimism amongst the drivers that they can absolutely find a way to win this title this season, rather when that didn't really exist last time out. So far then, with 4 minutes left of this sprint, what do you make of the time so far? Batty a minute 22.137 for Tiller, then a minute 22.6 for Shadows, so half a second faster Tiller is right now.
Yeah, I think it kind of looks to me like a lot of these, because you only get the one set of tyres, it's kind of hard to tell like what in this session is a good time, because, you know, a lot of these guys have chosen the medium to do the qualifying. This is the other thing that we didn't mention, which I'll mention after your point, but so a good time for mediums, I would say, is probably, you know, if you're Welch, probably a mid 121, so 22.1 from Tiller is certainly not bad, and judging by the looks, he's kind of overfueled a little bit as well, just so he can get multiple laps in. But interesting to see that the medium guys are having a wee bit more success, you know, kind of keeping the tyres in temperature as opposed to the soft guys right now. Whether that will stay the same, I don't know, but you know, people like Keiran are probably going to wait right to the last second, put minimal fuel in the car, and then just, depending on what he does on that quality lap, is just going to be his lap. DJ Class, Adversary, DZR, Hippo, I dare say, we're all doing the same. So, but yeah, it's the other thing here is with the tyre selection going in to sprint race weekends, you kind of get an advantage whether you want to take like a softer or a harder sort of allocation. Like harders, you would get 2 sets of hards for the race, but then the downside of a harder, I believe, is that you have to use a soft set to qualify on and potentially the sprint race, which is not ideal round here.
Well,
so if anybody's on the softs for the
Go
sprint race, they're in for a real bad time.
Oh,
that's my final point.
That's nearly everyone with those only 2 hour. I was going to say as well, because we saw Chizzy before he went in and went out on softs. He was rocking those intermediates. I didn't know if that was going to be a troll or not, but seemingly, yeah, you know, comes out on softs now as well. Keiran taking the lead here, them a 121.1. So pretty much just about 1 second quicker than Tiller. Minute and 50 left here with the likes of Chizzy going to needing to be setting a time, so we'll stay on board with him.
So everybody must have mediums and softs then, by the looks of it, because the whole grid is now changed to soft tyres. So
yeah, apart from Jamie Dodger, who's still on those mediums.
Yeah, maybe I'm too old, but my fucking memory is you only used to get like the 1 compound, but that may have changed, or it might be GP2 or, you know,
well, the
F2
way
that I'm getting it mixed up with.
The way they do it in real life, because they have the 3 separate sessions, you only get 1 tire per session. So
okay.
that's probably all condensed into this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we only do the 1-time session. So.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, because you only you get like mediums for Q1 and then softs for Q2, Q3 normally, don't you?
Yes.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Well, with this one about to be in the books, we'll see what Chizzy kind of comes out with. As I think Dan mentioned again a couple of times, it's the top 8 that gets points here with 40 seconds remaining. And again, every point that Chizzy can rack up will help extend that lead. They'll have to hope, though, and he can catch up to Keiran's 121.1. As he's staying on the outside here, takes a nice tight turn inside, but does this look like it's going to be better than a 121 for you, Batty? What do you make of this run by Chizzy? Does he look like he started well here? Look like he's doing well here?
Yeah, he's keeping it pinned. I was watching Shadow Gunners a little bit there, you know, since his. Well, no, that's not going to help
Yep,
his
that's
cause.
not going to help his time whatsoever. There you go, onto the
Yeah,
gravel.
but yeah, I was watching Shadow Gunners there. Has become one of my favourites to watch after his recent qualifying and race finish escapades. So, but yeah, the only person I really saw kind of like really nail Sector 1 was Keiran. But you know that might be the advantage of the wheel. But yeah, I'm not sure how many of the lads in here are actually on wheel. But I know Keiran used to be. I don't know if he is anymore. But I'd imagine by the way he's driving, he's on a wheel. But if he's not, it's some serious bloody precision. Great time from fucking Rye. Jesus.
Yeah, absolute 121.9 takes over Tiller there as well. So, yeah, a good start for Keiran. We talked about how he needed to keep his head and keep composure today, and to come first place in the sprint, it looks like, is a great start. Neddy there as well, putting himself up into 6th position.
Probably looks comfortably second here.
Yeah, I think, yep, and there he just takes it there, 121.6 there. Again, though, for Rye, he'll take that top 3 in the sprint. Never going to complain at that, are you? Never.
Nah, never. To be honest, you know, I think if you're a whole grid, championship leader is in 13th.
Absolutely.
If you can get some favours for the boys in that mid pack, you know, there could be some vital points for, you know, Keiran and Tiller here, which they wouldn't necessarily get at another weekend. So yeah, you gotta make it count. And if I'm Keiran and Tiller, the last thing I want is an incident between them two. You know, I'm just like, right, we know where Kissy is, let's just work together, let's just keep calm, help each other stay first and second, and just pray that Kissy can't make it through the field. Because it's going to be difficult for him. He's got the talent to do it, but the track is not going to do him any favours trying to, you know, progress through a field very quickly on the same kind of age tyres. And, you know, nobody needs to pit in a sprint race either, you know, it's just completely down to race pace here.
Well, there you go. The sprints, of course, the first part of 3 bits of racing tonight, done and dusted. Qualifying up next before the actual race begins. And there you have it. Keiran finishing first, Tiller second, Rye third, Shadow Gunners 4th, Hippo 5th, Neddy 6th, Benchwarmer 7th, Victory in 8th, Craig in 9th, Liam 10th, DZR 11th, Jamie Dodger 12th, Chizzy 13th. That's a disappointing one. DJ Class 14th, and Adversary in 15th. There you have it. Seems to be the matter, Dan.
We're halfway through the first lap, and there's already carnage.
All
Two
right,
cars have spun around.
Get in there. Sounds like a GP2 masterclass, that one.
Yeah.
Thank you as well to Zend for the follow as well. Appreciate that. This is joining us just in time for quali then. Okay.
No pause to this sesh, so they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Everybody should be okay.
Wonderful.
Interesting for context for the GP1 race, all 3 compounds are being used in the GP2 sprint race at the moment. We've got Marzi's the only driver on hards. There's 4 drivers on the soft tire, so interesting to see how the soft tire does. I've seen some people saying that the soft tire over 10 laps just does not hold up. You get to about 90% on the fronts. So, good luck to those who are on the softs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, this is it. Depending on what allocation you chose, you know, like you've either got. I think there's only one way to get medium hard, which I presume would be the harder allocation. But yeah, you dare say you're going to see most of this grid on the mediums. But the thing is with those hot tyres is because it's such a hot track, you're probably sitting in a very good operating temperature on a tyre that actually, you know, just wears way less. So if you can stay with the cars ahead, you're probably going to be able to make some moves later on. But you gotta hope that you just stay out of any sort of chaos or, you know, any sort of chaos, don't bang your wing, that sort of thing. You just gotta keep it clean.
It's fair enough. Well, we don't need to wait too long until this one begins. And it should be a fun night of qualifying indeed. But, yeah. I'm going to flip for the Champions League results because I missed all these. Tottenham drew. Excellent news. Shitters. Bum 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 bum. Oh, Sporting one. Dre will be knee sliding and work. 86-minute winner. He'll definitely be knee sliding and work somewhere.
Yeah, the soft tire definitely has the pace here after 2 laps on our way to the third one, but I do wonder what the state of these tires are going to look like here in a couple laps.
There we go.
All right, off we pop. Okay, so we are out and about for the sprint race. As Keiran, of course, will be aiming to finish in that top 8 position just like he did in qualifying. 10 laps here. Nice and fast, and of course, I think in this with sprints, do you see, I mean, obviously it feels like a bit of a redundant question, but are you going to see more aggressive driving than the actual race in this sprint tonight, do you think? Do you think we're going to see people try and be a little bit more daredevilish in overtakes, or not so much?
Yeah, this is it. I think it will be interesting as the season goes on, because I think, you know, with earlier sprints you would expect a lot of kind of chaos early on, but then as the season goes on, you know how chaotic they can be, so I think the whole grid will kind of respond and be like, unless you're in fighting for a championship spot or something, I expect everybody to take it relatively easy. But we've had a couple of bumps. I've been watching Kisses from the start of the race, and there's been, you know, Craig's unfortunately had a spin, but looks to be relatively clean. The majority of the grid so far.
Hell's frozen over, clearly.
Yeah. Whether this stays in the actual race, I don't know, but I haven't checked what compounds people are in. Okay, so we have representation of every tyre compound as well, so yeah, kind of what I expect. Most people will be on mediums, and then adversary is playing the long game here.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that your desk is going to be busy after this one. We're halfway through the sprint race.
Yeah.
How would sprint penalties work? If someone like wrecks someone in a sprint race, does that then carry over to penalties in the actual race, or would that be a penalty for the sprint race just itself?
We're going to apply it to their actual race. So
okay.
You can't be a naughty boy in the sprint race and get away with it.
Okay, well, there you go. Good to know.
I think if you don't do that, then the sprint races will be sheer chaos.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, NASCAR did just
I
come
only
out,
lose
so
8 points.
if you want to go do that,
somebody, go on.
yeah.
I will be looking to get some left turning going on the weekend. I will.
No.
Yeah.
Well, those cars are about to be going real fast and real left.
Mm-hmm.
Until eventually someone turns right.
CJ.
Yes. But, yeah, I mean, over at GP1, it looks like you've got a nice 2 trains kind of forming there. Is that? Oh,
well,
did he
then
had
he
an
is.
incident.
I don't know where that was, where he retired from, but his car just completely disappeared.
Keiran is burning it right now as well. Ryan and Tiller are the ones that are in a bit of a close contest there for second. Happening as well at Leeson, so I don't need to ignore that. Only in the sprint race. Still so much to go here tonight. This one. But I think so far, 3 laps in out of the 10. Maybe the most disappointing would be Craig, but like you said, he had that kind of spin out, that kind of incident, or mini incident, whatever you want to refer to it as, early on. So, I mean, you can give him some slack. But, I mean, beyond that, I think everyone is roughly where they're supposed to be. Maybe you could say Chizzy being in 6th is a bit low, but with how Shadowgunners and Benchwarmer did last week, it's not really too off the scale of surprising. But Liam Y in the top 9 right now is a great shout for him. He's doing well. Adversary is one of those drivers where sometimes he has a good race and a bad race, a good race and a bad race. So still, 6 laps to go in this sprint. It could very much change.
You can kind of see a little bit already that, these, whether that's Liam getting held up, but I would say he's kind of making ground on 2 ahead on these hards, and Tiller has put a little bit of a dent into Keiran's time too, so are these softer compounds starting to run away from the hard ones already?
Yeah,
Quite possible.
For context, we're on lap 7 in GP2, and the medium runners are easily pulling about half a second on the soft runners here. So, seems like the soft tire is probably good for maybe 4 or 5 laps, but anything after that is just.
Oh, Keiran's made a mistake because Tiller has just taken an absolute chunk out
Oh
of
yeah,
him there. I'm not
he has.
quite sure what's
He's
happened.
within touching distance again. He's speeding away though. 1.5 seconds between them.
How many times have we talked about before that, Kieran's great over the first few laps, but as soon as those tires start to degrade a little bit, it kind of just, it gets to him, and that's where his mistakes come in.
I just wonder if it's driving style, just putting too much heat into them at this point, because there are like some
and doing that
tracks
on this
where-
track
yeah.
is
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So we had
a
2
recipe for
penalties.
disaster.
2 penalties so far as well. Liam Y, one we just praised, and Jammy Dodger 3 seconds, of course, for multiple warnings. So it's going to take Liam outside of the top 10, albeit you really want to finish in the top 8 in this. And
Double move by the Astons. Oh, that was lovely.
Oh god!
Go
there's
past Kissy.
yeah, Chizzy is having a battle here with TRC Victory in the no, Shadow's going, excuse me, in the Aston Martin, but Chizzy has overtaken him, and now Chizzy, he's on the
Put him under
he's
pressure again.
He's bumped the rear wheel there. That was a little bit naughty, wasn't it? Could have been a disaster, but no carnage yet. Chizzy now up into 5th position, splitting these Aston Martins in 2 here in the sprint as Keiran continues to zoom away from Tiller. He's gained another 0.2 seconds on Tiller. It's now a 1.8 second differential. As Dan said, but a bit of train now forming between, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. You can see them there, just all in one straight line, looking to try and find a mistake from the other. To wonder if that mistake will come or not, as Keiran has taken a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Well, then that's going to make Tiller a happy man, because that puts him in 1st for this sprint now. So for Keiran, multiple exceeding the track limits, I think that was, which will put him a little bit lower in this conversation. Well, now we've got some bumping and grinding here on the right side as well between these two, Benchwarmer and Rye, continuing to joust for 3rd position, as Chizzy is right in there as well. He wants to have that
Losing
podium
valuable
finish.
time though. Yeah.
He all takes this one really tight on the inside. Chizzy now up to 4th position, and Rye's going to need to protect himself here. So Keiran and Tiller still separated by 1.6 seconds, which means that obviously Tiller will still be in 1st position. But right now, a podium of Tiller, Keiran and Rye in that order. Can Chizzy break his way in there? 4 laps to go of this sprint. And as of now, I think you got to look at those Aston Martins once again today and say a great sprint quali, a great sprint race thus far, and if they can keep this up, maybe another great race in general tonight would be great, and valuable points for the team constructors. Absolutely. So 3 laps now to go. Can Rye hang on? I think as well, like you said, you don't need to really, there's no real need or essence to pit during the sprint, but I mean, for the actual race tonight, how many laps are you going to get away with on those mediums? I think you said is it 29 laps tonight, Dan, the entire thing?
27.
27. So, I mean, realistically, how many laps are you going to get away with on those mediums? 10, 11, or not as many as that?
I think maybe 10. This is a great litmus test for these guys, though, if they haven't done any
Keiran
laps
has spun.
prior.
Oh, yep, into the gravel he goes, and that there will mean that his sprint maybe is up in smoke. Needed those points. He's on the gravel waiting for a re-entry, or maybe he will. Yep, there he goes, up to come out again. With 3 laps as well, Keiran could still easily maybe gain time here. That's the thing, and you would rather spin out and maybe cost yourself now in the sprint than it happen in the actual race. So for now though, Tiller, Chizzy and Rye all very much in the top 3, and for Tiller, he looks long gone. 3-second difference here between Chizzy and Tiller, which means really you're looking at the battle for second here. Rye only 0.9 seconds behind him, right on his tail. Benchwarmer right on his tail. Shadowgunner's a little bit more away though, so could be a tight finish here for the podium positions tonight. Will depend if maybe Chizzy has a little bit of an issue or an incident or not. Said he does have a slight history, very slight history. Back, you have to go back 2 seasons back for when he effectively was throwing races away because of penalties. And talking of penalties, Keiran takes a 10-second pit penalty for spinning in the pit lane and then retires in the pits. Doesn't see the need to do the next 2 laps of the sprint. Is that going to be an omen for what's to come in the actual race tonight? Like I said, Keiran needs the points by any which way, and he's squandered his opportunity at them in this sprint race tonight. So what this does mean is that Tiller, who I think you said was in second in the championship conversation, he will gain even more ground on Chizzy. Shadowgunners as well has taken a 3-second penalty there. Doesn't do too much as Dirty Hippo, the German, is still 3 seconds behind him. Adversary now with 3 seconds. The penalties are rolling in late as Mr. DZR also now joins the pile. So a penalty time reminder in the sprint race. 3 seconds for Shadowgunners, TRC Victory, Adversary, Liam Y, Mr. DZR, and DJ Class. Everyone on the track on mediums, except for Adversary, who's on hards, and DJ Class, who is on 7-lap-old softs. He is going to be feeling the wear and tear of those softs potentially at this point. That was definitely a decision from DJ Class, but I have it. A couple of laps to go here. Go through the grid here, see who's maybe in a bit of a fight for their position. So far, looks like the top kind of 3 are all happy enough. However, Rye still chasing down Benchwarmer, wanting to tell the Aston Martin he's not going to get away with 3rd place today. DJ Class takes another 3-second time penalty, takes it up to 6 seconds. Won't really mean anything since he is in 12th. No one's got to worry about behind him, but again, a good kind of competitive practice, you could say, for the main stage race, which will be coming up momentarily. Is on round here again, but right. It just seems like these straights are the only time he's going to have to kind of get himself pushing ahead of Benchwarmer. He's got to go now if he's going to go at all, but doesn't look like
One time for the gringos.
Maybe he will. Yeah, he's pushing it, he's breaking it. Goes on the inside there. Is there any contact? Doesn't look like there is. And Benchwarmer, it's his position. Shadowgunners over another 3-second time penalty. That's going to be brutal for the Aston Martin man. Now see himself tumble pretty far down the table. Any points are gone there. And Rye, all the way on the outside there, had to go on the outside because squeezed in by Benchwarmer, has just taken a 3-second penalty as well. So for Rye, looks like 4th position here in lap 10 of the sprint is going to be all he could rest upon. So a top 3 in the sprint race of Tiller, Chizzy, and Benchwarmer. I mean, listen, not the main race, Batty, but another great showing from Benchwarmer, who seems to only be improving week after week recently.
Yeah, he's He's got into a good groove this track. You know, just kept it one of what four drivers, sorry, to
Yeah.
not have a morning. Five, sorry, I didn't see Craig there either. But yeah, it's yeah, great result for the Aston Martin, and if they can carry that into the main event, that's even better. But yeah, kind of what I thought, and yeah, the more interesting thing there is all three soft runners didn't finish the race, so definitely not the right tyre.
Yeah,
So.
that's definitely a message communicated to them for the main stage. There you go, though. The sprint in the books. Quali for the sprint done. The main sprint also done. So now we go over to the next cycle of things, which is the preparation for the main stage race. Here's your confirmation on the sprint grid then. Tiller in first, Chizzy in second, Benchwarmer in third, Ryan fourth, Dirty Hippo in fifth, Shadowgunners in sixth, Adversary in seventh, and TRC Victory taking a point in eighth. When you've got Craig R in ninth, Liam Y in 10th, DZR in 11th, DJ Class 12th, Kieran, Jamie Dodger, and Neddy all failed to finish the race in 13th, 14th, and 15th. So, yeah, big congratulations, especially to TRC Victory. Doesn't get points often. No offense to him, obviously, but gets one there tonight. And, yeah, I think he performed well. So you look at TRC Victory, Benchwarmer, Rye, Dirty Hippo, Shadowgunners. It's a nice kind of top 8. Some new names in there, which we're always excited to see. So, we move on now to our qualifying for this main race. And from there, after 18 minutes of that quali, we will have the main stage 27 lap race tonight. So 18 minutes on the board here to do your best. Gives T Stocky or Jago, anyone that wants to kind of come in, that is supposed to be a chance to kind of get in. But yeah, definitely an interesting one in terms of how they handle that. And for Keiran, interesting to see how he kind of recovers from that, you know, that incident, that issue, spinning out, retiring in the pits. You would rather it happen now than it happening in the main race tonight. So we'll see if he can recollect himself and get himself organised here for this qualifying. But I mean, thoughts on that sprint then, Matty? I mean, is Benchwarmer a name to watch tonight? Is he kind of like one of the dark horses to get a podium, do you think? Or we don't ever really see people do well in the sprint and then do well in the race, do we? I think we saw that a couple of years ago when you won the title. You had people that weren't usually ever finishing high up in the main race, getting a podium in the sprint, and then they would disappear during the main race. Is there an expectation on Benchwarmer for you now to do well, or is it just kind of take it you know, a lap at a time?
Yeah, I think if you bench, you'll probably end up doing better in the main race, just kind of judging by the attitude he took in that sprint race. You know, sprint races when I was racing, always kind of like favoured the people that had better natural lap, you know, one pace, you know, should normally favour people like Keiran, you know, people who are high up in qualifying, you know, lower tyre, you know, you can rag the car, or you could back in the day rag the car on the softest set, no problem, lower amounts of fuel, and it's just, yeah, and the more aggressive you are with the car in a sprint race, it normally turns out in your favour. I mean, there's a change for the good, definitely, as opposed to the last 2 years, is that you now have to kind of, as we've seen by the soft runners, you have to care about your tyres, and then even when you do care about your tyres, sometimes it's just not enough, because the softs are basically just used for should only be used for quality in this game, and maybe if there's a safety car with 4 laps to go. But yeah, I think you'll see just the guys that don't really get time penalties, I think will do well around here. Like patience is going to be key. I think judging by that sprint race, there's going to be gaps kind of all over, but once you get in that clean air, you are going to make up time to the pack ahead of you, unless there's a massive gulf and, you know, natural pace. Just because, you know, a clean air time round here it's almost like this is probably the most important session for me, because if you do qualify pole, like you just put yourself at such an advantage down to the nature of the track, providing you don't make any mistakes. Like, you should win the race. Like, 9 times out of 10, the guy that's pole round here will win the race. Complete opposite in MotoGP, by the way. It's normally the guy that's like 4th or 3rd wins in MotoGP.
Do you get that often where MotoGP and F1 share a track? I mean, is it different? Is there any difference in MotoGP, or is it just the exact same track? Like what? Like
it's the exact same track. It's just the lap time is about 45 seconds longer.
Yeah.
There's a few tracks that.
There are a few,
yeah.
Austria,
Spain.
Silverstone. Yeah, Catalonia, because they do 2, in Spain. Well, they used to do 3. In fact, I still think they do 3 tracks in Spain in MotoGP.
Yeah.
Do Jerez and Aragon as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, German tracks are different. I mean, there's no German track in F1 anymore, but when there was, they were different.
Yeah.
French, the French,
is 8 different layouts.
Paul Ricard was MotoGP before F1, I want to say. So, but yeah, Silverstone is only there because they don't really use Donington anymore. So, but yeah, there's a few. It's just the lap times are just so much quicker in F1 car, like ridiculously quick.
Ooh. Well. Sorry, I just had to open a bottle with my teeth. Yeah. I think with this, it'll be interesting to see the difference. Again, I always like to see a track with the sprint race prior and then the sprint race being done and then the main race, because I just think there's such a difference in how people will race tonight. I do think there'll be more kind of calmness if you have a poor start. I think, like you said, with Craig, I read that kind of spin in the sprint race. You know, you have more time to recover. Obviously, 27 laps is a lot more gracious in that regard. Dirty Hippo, though, so far setting the fastest lap for 1:22.4. Of course, we saw a 1:21.3, was it? I think Keiran set in the quali for the sprint. So again, maybe one of those that you'd be looking at and saying, okay, well, there's still a lot of time left to get those done. Does this hint of maybe some potential wet weather or something? Batty, Neddy and Chizzy coming out in intermediates again. What does that indicate to you to see 2 intermediates, or are they just trolling? Where are we with that?
Nah, they're just trolling. It's mainly because, you know, some people don't like to sit in the pits. Personally, I don't mind sitting in the pits, but you know, some people just want to go out and make sure they keep themselves warm. So, and by doing, you know, the intermediate kind of run, you save a set of soft tires.
Yeah.
Like, so I also don't know how many sets of softs they're gonna have for this session, because I know it's all kind of messed up. But normally you get 3, but you might only have 2 here, in which case, yeah, my first one, I probably wouldn't be using until like the 7th minute or something like that. But yeah.
Well, so far, Benchwarmer and Shadow Gunners, only quality granted, leading the way in a 1-2 with a 1:22.197 now, the fastest lap. Of course, though, VRL Keiran, the man that set the fastest lap in quali in the sprint quali, still in the pits. So with 11 minutes, he's got time to relax and leave his mark, as does Chizzy as well. Tiller as well on his outlap. So we'll hop on board with Tiller and see what he can do. So it was one of the faster times of quali last time out. So we'll see if he can up the standard again ever so slightly. Of course, as well, reminder to people, once we conclude with quali, unless otherwise, Batty, again, is it a case because it's a sprint where they still shouldn't ready up? Is that still a thing here after this quali?
Yeah, I'll make it like, you know, a minute and 15 or whatever, but actually no, make it 2, because some folk might not have gone for a pee in the last break, you know.
That's fair.
I don't want to force
commitment to the badge, mate. Piss your pants.
Yeah, exactly.
Give you bonus points if you proof of soiled underwear, mate. There you go. So yeah, don't ready up after qualifying is done. Wait for the notice, and from there it will be 27 laps in Qatar to end off the evening. A nice Wednesday night of driving, indeed. And again, if any of those of you out there, not many of you will because there's no 10-hour trial, keep your eyes peeled. On the weekend, we may be doing a community night on NASCAR again. And I'll tell you this much, those are fun, especially since we'll more than likely, for that community night on NASCAR, be having law boars involved. I can only imagine how well that will go. So that should be a real experience.
So what you're saying is we just need to have a lobby where we put Lawrence and CJ up front and just let them go to town.
Yeah, just let them duke it out.
And then you can be right behind them. So
how dare you? Soren can be right behind them.
I don't want to hear it.
How dare you?
Go back and watch that
listen,
stream, you
did that. You caused that. You caused that.
Oh yeah, did I cause it?
You caused that. You
When
said
I originally blamed Carl, right, and then realised it was you.
Oh, God.
You cut me off, but the second time,
that's
right?
the one bit I want to watch, right? Because I want to
second-
see your face when I blame CJ.
The second
you got away with it.
the second time you said, and quote, "I'm getting my revenge." So when you say something like that, I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to cause an incident. Right?
I made
so
a
there's-
clean overtake, and you were like, "Yeah, that's fine, mate." You lured me in. I didn't see anything that suggests taking you out.
When you say things like the things that you say, I'm going to protect myself at all times. That's all I will.
Don't worry.
All I'll say.
We'll just race on Saturday again.
Right, now that sounds threatening again. I will have to protect myself if you come in towards my personal space on the on the oval. Yeah,
Me and Ryan are just gonna cause chaos to you and CJ after last week, man.
I did nothing wrong, personally.
Right.
I got an achievement. I won a race on Saturday.
I got an achievement.
Yeah. Do you have the achievement for winning?
Shameless.
Do you have an achievement for winning the online race? I don't think you do, because I'm a winner.
No, because we brought in fucking Zesty in the last 3 or 4 races, and he came in and waxed us all.
I won when Zesty was in the lobby. I'm a winner.
Yeah, after you committed fucking
Doesn't
kamikaze
matter.
actions
Doesn't
on
matter.
him.
That was Carl. That was Carl. The VOD there supports the proof that that was Carl. As
Alright,
well
well,
as
one of you two just yelled yippee-ki-yay and turned right on the left-handed circuit.
that's Carl. That's absolutely Carl. Carl literally
Right,
was behind the CPU and said, "I'm dive bombing him," and then flew into the wall. So, you know, it's.
Oh, God.
Kieran, they're setting a 121.09, so we're nearly breaking into the 120s there. That's nearly as fast as me on NASCAR. Maybe you can learn a thing or two from me on Saturday on the oval. Christ, I'm good, lads. I am fucking so good at NASCAR. God, Jesus. We'll get fucking Dick Soup or whatever his name is back in. That would be great, because he wasn't awkward whatsoever. We'll have a real time of it. Imagine that. Lawbores, Carl, that guy that we randomly found in the online lobbies, just going around on a left-hand turn for 2 hours would be great. It's fantastic. Thank you as well to F1 Alex TTV for the follow as well. Only in qualifying, Alex. So we're just talking about my heroics in the oval on Saturday on NASCAR 25. You can watch a real racer on Saturday night. You can see how I win over there. Really, honestly, some of the best skill driving you'll find. 10:30 only in quali. This is mega. It's not mega like we had a sprint today, baby. We had a sprint quali and sprint race as well, so it's a little bit longer today, half an hour longer. So Kieran, so far we have a 121 with Tiller right behind him, so 0.7 of a second right behind him as well. Looks like Tiller and Kieran going to be safe in that kind of top 2, top 3 conversation. Rye, though, 122.043, right next to Benchwarmer and Shadow Gunners. Of course, Neddy's setting his lap. And, of course, you'd imagine Chizzy will come out and also set his lap at some stage towards the end. We'll hop on board with Neddy for now, though, and go from there. Yeah, I told Bailey yesterday he's going to get the Seahawks back, and his immediate thing was, wow, I'm going home. I know it's a fantasy draft, but get in there, Noah Fant reunion. It's like... The first trade Bailey's going to make is fucking Noah Fant. The first play Bailey's going to make is a fucking tight end attack. I can feel it from here, man. Unbelievable.
Oh, mate, like him versus Pape twice a year. That's the tight end fucking
that's going to be the
derby
tight
right
end
there.
derby. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is absolutely. But yeah, so I'm interested to see who you lot take from the VFL draft class. May have to even edit Bailey in. Bailey, if you want your likeness in the draft, you have to send me all your deets, and I can log into Haig's account later on and later on and edit you in, take someone else out and put you in. But yeah, go well, mate. Full send. Well, listen, I won't full send it here. We advertise for clean racing in our F1 league. That's why I only commentate. But when the gloves are off, mate, and we're on the oval and we're on the tarmac over in the States, then listen, all bets are off. Don't come near my personal space. You'll regret it. That's all I'm saying, right? Don't make threatening comments to me, Batistuta.
Is your personal space an entire zip code or what?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the
I was
entire.
gonna say, is your personal space all 3 lanes?
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Just
if
again,
you're on
Benny,
the same street as me, I'm killing you.
you see, now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. Yeah, I'm not driving. No one in this call drives. We've got Scarata, who's the owner, and then we got me and Batistuta. Batistuta was a champion, won GP1 in our league about 3 years ago now. Christ, you're old. Now he's full-time commentator with me. I've never raced because I just don't have the you know, I was going to say the talent, but it's more so the time. I wouldn't grace these people with my excellence on the track. I would win here just like I win in NASCAR also. It wouldn't even be a remote challenge personally, but that's where we are.
I'll take my accolade where I can. I'm a former GP2
Is it because you can't
Constructors
use
champion.
the walls to take you around the track? In
Yes,
this
well, you know what?
discipline? Is that what it is?
Maybe if someone didn't clip my fucking NASCAR version of a wing and fuck me up in the first lap, I wouldn't hug the wall every single turn. So, there you go.
It's definitely the wall's fault.
It is. The wall shouldn't be there. It needs to be a little bit wider. It shouldn't be there. I need your Bailey for the position that you want your guy in. Obviously, it'll be a tight end. I already know. Name that you want him to have. So first name, last name. The age that you want him to be, the height, the weight, the hair color, all that kind of stuff, and we can edit him in, and you can draft your guy, have him for the entire year in the league. Grace them with your excellence, laughing emoji. Love that analogy. It's not an analogy, it's just the cold hard truth, to be honest. But what can you do? You know, what can you do? Tonight though, you're staying with us for Qatar. Alex, guys to watch. Chizzy in 13th on the intermediates at the minute, who will be a danger. He is kind of one of the icons of GP1. So many race wins, so many accolades to his name. VRL Keiran in the kind of top 3 for the constructors, but is known to be a bit of a hothead. He can have one bad lap, have one bad spin, and then head will go. He'll be explosive and he'll retire in the pits, and that's what's maybe cost him the championship early on into our season. Points behind. And of course T1, also known as Tiller, is in that conversation as well. Won the sprint race tonight, so he's gained 8 valuable points there, and he'll be looking to finish above Chizzy and close the gap in that championship. He will. Anyway, just swinging by through streams. Have a mint race or stream. Thank you very much. You have a nice night as well, pal. You take care if you are out for the evening. For the rest of us, 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. In this one, a 1:21.09 though, Batty. How impressive is that? How, you know, we saw a 1:21.3 as the sprint quali, so to get a 1:21.09, nearly being the 120s. That's another statement from Keiran, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I dare say he's going to get 120s as well. Yeah,
He could do. Keeps on going the way he is. He could do.
Yeah, I dare say we will not be seeing those soft tiles anymore after this lap's complete, so that'll be my advice anyway.
Oh, breaking news for you, Batty. Corey has just added you in the Madden Discord and said hi there.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'll let you handle that one. That should be a thrilling conversation, no doubts.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Corey, aka the professional churchgoer, dog walker, babysitter, and darts champion. Get in there. I mean, pick your poison. Incredible.
I heard I heard he was competing with Marcus Mariota for the Nathan's.
I
Hot Dog
heard the
Eating
same
Championship.
damn thing. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
The same damn thing. He's a PDC darts champion as Marcus Mariota. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The Mariota beam, and there it is. Yep, that he called it. Keiran into the 120s. A 120.906 for Keiran. That there is a fast man. Absolutely. So, with that, we will wait for Chizzy to kind of set his time. Don't think it's going to be anywhere near a 120, obviously, but this is the thing. Chizzy's kind of learnt to be comfortable when he's in an uncomfortable position. He's not going to mind being middle of the grid, back of the grid. He's had such success in various positions on the grid whenever he races. I think today he'll make a splash regardless of where he starts. Then again, 15 on the grid. We approach 27 laps of Qatar here tonight. He sent that one wide. Well, doesn't really be doing that, but I think he'll be on intermediates either when we start here tonight. So yeah. Sparrow. Remember, of course, do not ready up until Battistuta gives the signal as well. If you do, then it's going to ruin everything. Alright. Oh yeah, I've got some UFC work to do definitely after this then. Someone forgot. How do you... Explain this one to me, Dan.
Go on.
How does someone forget they're going for a birthday meal tomorrow? It's their own birthday, by the way. How does someone do that?
That's impressive.
It's something, yeah. Don't worry, I'll make you understand why it's not so impressive. The kid's born in 2009. So, everybody is just dense. Hate myself. All right, well, so get your setups all sorted.
That was nice of the game.
Oh no, what's happened?
I just didn't manage to get the quality
Oh yeah,
classification.
I've only just noticed that it didn't load it up on the
Yep.
table. Yeah, Christ, that is something.
You had to tab over.
I didn't even get like a tab though.
Yeah, it just flashed for me. I was pressing it, so
Oh, like it right. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Figure it out.
All right. Dun, 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 dun,
You have to get the
dun.
quality times for the thing in
Yeah.
the standings on the left anyway. So.
That's fine.
I have to fucking. It reminds me, I need to actually DM or email DHL because they told me that package was delivered to my house, but it never was. These shysters, honestly.
Right. That GP1.
You said green light in GP, want to know?
Yeah.
Oh, baby, here we go. What is your opinion, actually, looking over to the side of my room? You know, when we went to NFL London and I bought that helmet, that mini helmet, is it better to keep it in the packaging? Because I still haven't taken it out of the packaging.
Yeah, I probably would.
A lot of people keep those in the packaging.
Yeah, it's still in the box. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting maybe a little shelf here in the room and start collecting them.
They make like custom cases for those, by the way. You can get like a custom plexiglass case. Yeah, it's got like a lid on it, and you just put it in there, and then put the lid on it.
You see, eventually I was
like
thinking, well, I'll go back to that after we get lights out here, as we're off and underway. A bit foggy here in Qatar, isn't it? It's an
sandstorm
interesting one. Yeah.
Big Darude's on as well.
Big Darude, and here we go. Then let's see how the first corner of death goes. As it's pretty clean. A little bit free wide there, but it's okay. That's all right. I'd tell you what, we've had worse starts. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
I was thinking eventually for the NFL getting either an actual, like, you know, life-size signed helmet or a signed football or something and put it in a case. But again, for now, these kind of mini helmets are quite nice. They're a nice little memento. So, yeah. So I still got my match program in perfect condition as well. Put it in a drawer. Keep that for a while. So the same thing I did with my WrestleMania 20 match program. I've got that from 2004, still in perfect condition as well. I'm a big nerd. Anyway, comms on the tire strategy here, by a lot of different strategies tonight. There's 5 hards, 2, 4, 6, 7 mediums, and 3 softs. So these guys coming out the softs didn't learn from the sprint, clearly. What do you make of that decision?
Yeah, it's gonna find out probably after 5 laps that they need to go in. But it's the thing you're saying about the tyre allocation before all these guys even did the sprint quali. You might not have a choice. You might have to at least do at least one kind of stint on these soft tyres. But Kissy being on them, I know he didn't set a quali time, so maybe that was on purpose. Maybe he feels that soft hard is maybe a quicker strategy or something like that. But yeah, be interesting to see who can actually make them last. So you can get, you know, 4 very quick laps out of them, and then say 2 medium, and then 1 where you're just above, about keeping it straight, but you're struggling. That's probably, you know, 22 laps after that, and might be able to take the hards to the end, or it's at least a easy medium hard to the end.
Hey, I want it on record, by the way. Shows you how much of an absolute race genius I am. I said it was 29 laps, and Dan said 27, so I'm in the right, and Race Master Dan here is 1-0 down to me in terms of knowledge tonight. Just like he's 1-0 down to me in NASCAR. It's just so easy, Daniel. It's just so easy.
Let it be known that I was never the reason that our 50-lap races suddenly turned into 11 laps, so...
You also never finished first.
You also struggled to finish. Get in.
No. I finished every race in the oval. All right.
I'll finish on your forehead. You don't shut up.
Oh right, okay. I am the embodiment of NASCAR racing. Get in. Well, some overtakes already. Chizzy, of course, rising from the bottom of the pile to get up to 4th instantly. Not a surprise, talented driver, but. Again, there is a little bit of bumping and grinding here in 5th and 6th at the minute. And again, we are starting to see that kind of train that Dan talked about in the build-up to this form. The difference, though, here so far between Keiran and Tiller is exactly what we saw in that sprint race. But, I mean, this is the thing, Batty. You know, Tiller can look at this and say, I know you've got a mistake in you. All I've got to do is keep close. He made the mistake in the sprint where he got multiple... not multiple. We got multiple track warners. We gave him a 3-second time penalty, and then of course he spun out, and that gave Tiller the lead. So for Tiller, do you think that's the way to play it, or do you think that's too risky of a strategy? I.e., just stay close and hope for him to make a mistake.
Yeah, you almost gain more pace around this track by not actually pushing. Like, you know, this track more so than others. Like, you do gain pace by being consistent and keeping your tyres in check, don't get me wrong, but this one especially, because the minute you start to, I mean, look at the gaps come down already, just because Keiran made one mistake. Like, it's not a 3/10 mistake, it's 3 tenths on one corner, 2 tenths on the next, and then a tenth on the other. Like,
Yeah.
it just, there's a domino effect every time you're kind of offline round here. So, yeah, you've got to. But Kieran, I'm just not pushing because you've got the natural pace. Like, yeah, maybe like he pushed away to try and make a gap, and he was still pushing because he wasn't. He was like, yeah, let's get to 3 seconds, and that mistake
And there
now
is the
made him
3-second
change.
penalty. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. He got it in the sprint. He's got it here now. We've missed that as we're hopping on board with Neddy here in 8th position. DZR with a 3-second penalty as well. Look at that. There is just action everywhere, Batty. There's this kind of pile of 4, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then you've got this kind of other pile of 4, which is 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. So it's like segments of the track here split up in terms of close races. Again, you know, 10th, 11th, and 12th very much right next to each other as well. So Jamie Dodger 4 laps in, the first man to kind of wave the forfeit flag and say he's out of this one. Qatar maybe not on his list of tracks that he enjoys, but again, there's still 25 laps to go. You would think maybe he could have recovered it if he wanted to. Could have recovered it, and there's also the possibility that more drama could happen in other parts of the grid. 3 people didn't make it out of the sprint. Are you saying higher or lower than 3 people to retire / not finish tonight, Barry? What do you think?
Might just tire. I think I'll go 4. I think 4 retire in the main race.
That's fair.
You know, yeah.
Any
max
indication on which
5.
4 you're going to go for? You're gonna put names to those people or not?
No, I'm not gonna fight. No,
Well, I will. VRL Keiran, Jamie Dodger, DZR, and I'm going to go Liam Y. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm going to go. Well, that's another big moment there in this kind of top 3 chase, Bay, because Chizzy now also with a 3-second time penalty. This is giving Tiller a clear shot at winning this Qatar Grand Prix tonight, which would be huge considering the distance between him and Chizzy in the championship standings. So did you expect that 5 laps in to see Keiran and Chizzy already take a penalty each, or is that surprising to you?
No, not. This is gonna be, you know, I think I would be happy if I had 6 seconds round here. That's how much you end up running wide or cutting a corner. So, you know, 6 seconds, anything more than that, I'm going to be pissed off at myself. But, yeah, if you can keep it clean here, you're on serious track to win the race. Kissy having this early on and Keiran being out in front is surprising to me, though. I kind of expected we'd see like 2-3 seconds maybe in the middle of the field, where, you know, there's that kind of cluster from 6th down to 9th, you know, maybe a couple of those guys, but not the guy that's out there leading and potentially, you know, one of the cleaner in terms of getting time penalties, Kissy, that we have on the grid. So, yeah, it's, yeah, there we go.
Another one joins the conversation there as Neddy eats a 3-second penalty. I think tonight that you talk about the top 10 getting points in this main race, is there pressure maybe on some of these guys currently outside? Again, only 6 laps in, but would you expect Craig, would you expect Adversary to kind of be in the conversation, or do they have maybe a free pass in this race because of how long it's taken? I don't know. I just feel like you have to put a little bit of pressure on Craig and Adversary, especially after seeing how well they've done in recent weeks. Is that fair?
No, I don't think we can, like, I wouldn't judge them, like, at the minute, because they are on a harder tyre, and honestly, if they do just keep it clean, I think they'll probably both finish in the points. Like, you know, those hards ain't going to be anywhere near as quick as the mediums at this stage. We've probably got another three laps, I'd say, before the turnover point is, but yeah, there are soft runners pitting already though after 6 laps, so
I'm not totally shocked by that. I think you predicted 5, didn't you?
Yeah. I think like 4 good laps, 2 laps are okay, and then if you save them a bit, maybe you get a 7th. So I'm not too surprised. It'll be interesting to see how much time bench loses here.
Yeah, I'm interested to
see
see.
who like that drop off
I'm interested to see if Bench pits here. I think as well. I think he should. He should be. I mean, it's the indication from the rest of the grid. You know, you're on softs, you need to go in, but we have seen people kind of defy the.
You can probably see how much time Rye is losing to Tiller. In which case, yeah, I'm probably pitting too. But yeah.
So we have seen people like Chizzy and like the great winners before they see the majority of the pack go in around the same time and switch from one tire to the other, and then it only takes one person to say I'm not going to do it, pull off a masterclass, and then you end up looking like a genius. So it does depend if that's what Benchmore wants to do. Is DJ Class now joins the penalty list, and there you go. Yep, Benchmore is going to go in.
Wow.
And Rye has gone in also. Does that indicate maybe wing damage, or why would you go in with 7 laps of mediums? But that seems a little bit strange, doesn't it?
Committed to 2-stop. Maybe he's gone like medium hard. Doesn't like the way that the medium's particularly feeling right now.
Has gone hard, so you have pulled that one off.
So I think, yeah, he's probably a lot more comfortable. Maybe he's got a setup that maybe favours the harder compound. You know, I like to tweak my setup in a way that, you know, use a race setup in quali. A lot of people do it the other way about, but use a quali setup in the race. But yeah, it kind of just depends of how he's got his tyre temps, how the track's feeling. His wings, his suspension can cause the tyre temps to fluctuate. So we'll see now. If he looks comfortable here, he might just be struggling in general with this track, but you know, we'll see now on this stint, because I think him going in there, he's definitely going hard to the end.
I'm talking about adversary a little bit, you know, moments ago. We talked about how there's maybe a pressure to get inside the top 10, and now, you know, you're already seeing Craig and adversary in 6th and 7th due to those pit decisions. Yeah, you know, is this going to be... It's more so that the grid nowadays, without Lewis Welch, has got 2 main kind of stories. Is, okay, who's going to win the race out of Keiran, Tiller, and Chizzy? And then it's kind of like, oh, what's happened?
Oh, the Ferraris are going to double stack. That's unfortunate for...
Is that terrible news?
That's unfortunate for Hippo. That's bad for Hippo. Not so much Tiller, but it's bad for Hippo.
It kind of looked on stream like they may have just timed it. I think Hippo may lose a couple tenths there, maybe a full second, but I think disaster mainly averted there. But yeah, that could have been close.
I mean, they are just, you know, doing the Ferrari thing to do. So
very true. Yeah. I appreciate the realism, lads.
But then again, double stacks in real life are actually, making life difficult at Ferrari. That's what they do. But no, I mean, in real life, you know, double stack no problem. Well, most teams do, but on the game, it's just the animations take a while to start going. So sometimes you're sat there for half a second while the AI is just staring at you. So yeah,
menacingly.
Yeah, he's lost a little bit of time, but it doesn't look too bad.
I mean, talking about this, by the way, about a third of the way through this race now. TRC Victory and Neddy in the Mercedes. Obviously, you know, still to pit, so this will change. It's 2nd and 3rd at the moment, so they're having a good night out here as well. Hard tyres as well. What are we thinking about? 15 laps on the hards, or is that going to be a bit of a push?
I mean, the wee graphic that the game gave said that the one-stop medium hard, the mediums would do 12 and the hards would do, I think, is it 13, 16 it might have been? Yeah. So if the game's saying 16, you're probably doing 15 comfortably. I think the game does say the tyres can do a lot more than they actually can half the time. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, Craig, adversary, DJ Class, that'll be the kind of indication. They'd probably say when the first one goes in, add another 2 laps onto that, and that's when they start to feel dodgy or really bad. But yeah, the whole grid will be looking at those hard runners at the front, trying to get some info. So
Well, there's another penalty there coming from Bench. Well, thanks for the follow. Formula Racing League 2025. Interested to commentate in our F1 league. The fact that you think I'm good enough to commentate in any F1 league is a compliment. I am leaning on the brain power of Batistuta and Scarata here. All I have is a fancy microphone. That's it. And trust me, you can find way better people than me. Yeah. But I appreciate you thinking that I'm good enough to ask. That's all I can really say to you. Recap on the penalties here so far. 3 seconds for Neddy, Craig, adversary Keiran, Chizzy, DZR, Ryan, Benchwarmer with DJ Class on 6 seconds of pens now. I mean, this is the thing that you kind of alluded to earlier on, that, you know, if you are TRC Victory, if you are Tillett, if you are Liam Y05, you know, 3 different types of driver, 3 different, I think, aims at the start of the race. Tillett will be aiming to win, Victory will be aiming for points, Liam will be aiming for points. You just have to keep clean here. With the way that penalties are stacking up here, like Tetris blocks for a lot of the grid right now, you finish clean, you may well jump about 3 or 4 positions with how some of these guys are attacking the corners.
Yeah. And it's because of the nature of the track too. It's like, you know, you're going to spend a fair amount of time behind the wing of somebody else, so it's very difficult for you to like pull away 3 seconds on somebody without a catastrophic mistake. You know, so it's, you just keep it tucked in, brake a wee bit earlier than you want to, you know, decelerate, and yeah, you're away here. And by the looks of it, that is absolutely Ferrari's game plan. Those two especially, I mean, I've been watching Hippo and Tiller, and neither of them are pushing as hard as they were in quali. I mean, you're never going to in this race anyway, but it's like a significant kind of resolved approach, which, yeah, in turn is going to shoot you up the constructors' finishings at the end, because, you know, the McLarens aren't particularly having a good time. I mean, the Red Bull's going to be up there because of Kissy, so Craig and Kissy end up getting another penalty. They're going to drop quite very far down as well. But Neddy, the last surviving medium runner, so
well,
I wonder
Liam
if
Y
he's
has just come out onto mediums as well, so he's going to be fine for about maybe 8 laps. But this is what I'm just about to say, that I'm going to hop on board with Neddy here and see if this is going to be the moment where he decides to pit, because those 11-lap-old mediums, they're going to start to be feeling a little bit iffy, aren't they? They certainly are. So,
yeah. If you look at the front left, there's a little bit of graining there, but
yeah, you can definitely see it.
We've seen lost.
Oh, you can definitely see it now. That's not a little bit. That was a lot of graining I just saw there for a minute.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, in the right-hand column, also you can see it quite well. But yeah, so you probably got 2 laps. Maybe he's decided, you know what, most of these lot are on a 1-stop. Or on a 2-stop. I'm gonna try the 1-stop. And if that's the case, yeah, you probably want to.
There he goes. In he goes. Yep.
Yeah.
I bet it's a smart decision.
Maybe Mr. Craig leading for the first time in GP1. So we'll see how he deals with this with a
don't get a nosebleed, son,
on his tail. Yeah.
So that front left tire of his was in absolute tatters. I think it's a smart decision to go in and pit there. But yeah, I mean, the Red Bulls here, Chizzy and Craig are 1 and 3 with a McLaren. I'm still learning the logos. Yeah, it is McLaren in between the two. And again, for Keiran, you know, took a penalty in the sprint, then had a disaster, crashed out effectively and retired. Took his penalty here tonight, 13 laps in. Again, only effectively nearly halfway through, and he's still very much up there. But yeah, 12 laps of hards for Craig. Keiran knows that the way that he's pieced this together, he's made a brilliant plan here. Second place, the man in front of him 12 lap hards, the man behind him 6 lap hards. All he's got to do is stay in front of Chizzy, and he'll outlast Chizzy and maybe eliminate Chizzy from the conversation of winning this one tonight.
Yeah, and we've seen him take a very, very battled pair of hards to win the race already, haven't we? So, you know, there was I can't remember if it's second or third race of the season, but he ended up doing like 20 laps on the hard. So I don't think you could do 20 laps on this track, but certainly, I mean, how many is he gonna have to go? He's got to do 18. Yeah, I think he's probably in a position where you're right. He's kind of looked and He's going to ask the engineer how old the tyres are behind him and in front of him, so he's going to know that. And then he knows, like, right, well, I've got 4-lap better condition. We'll see when he goes in, or either I pit the lap after because I know I can push, or do you just stay out? You know, I think he's got everything pretty open.
Do you think that this is an opportunity for maybe Craig to be the ultimate team player here?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if Craig is able to keep Keiran out of DRS down the straight and just kind of have a leisurely lap, it's going to take some life out of those tires that Kieran's got 4 laps difference on. It's going to put extra heat into them, extra wear into them. It's going to be hard to turn around those corners, and Jesse's going to, close that 7/10 of a second gap. So
yeah, this is where he's going to lose the most time on the track, though. So if he gets out of this section,
I wonder if he's just going to dump the battery, maybe. I don't know.
No, yeah, well, yeah, they're both going to be on him now. Keiran is right behind him, so Kim probably has him this lap, and then we'd expect to let his teammate by.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of battery, but yeah.
Take that.
Yeah, he immediately let Chizzy by. Nice teamwork there with the Red Bulls. Craig reached out to me earlier today, actually, kind of almost seemingly lacking confidence. I said, brother, you just won the GP3 championship. You've scored points in 3 of your first 4 races in GP1. You know, it was always going to be a difficult jump for him.
Oh,
but
100%.
I think you look at improved drivers, him and Nettie and even Rye to an extent are very much up there with guys who came up from the lower tiers and are now really, really having a good time here in GP1. That's why I told him, I said, look, there's no reason to be lacking confidence here. This is a field full of pillars, and it's just, guys who've been on the game and guys who just have the reactions of a freshly born rabbit. So there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But at the same time, he's got the awareness to know that I'm not going to be at front. How can I help my teammate, who's typically up at the front, continue to stay up at the front and also pick up points for myself to benefit the team? And I think, I think he was very receptive to that. And I'm wondering if, that's maybe playing into some of that decision making we're seeing here tonight. I almost wonder, Connor, if he's going to go for a one-stop here, Craig.
I think he has to.
I think he will. I think he absolutely will. That's the question I was going to just go back to with the stops, actually. I mean, right now, only 3 people on the grid with no penalties. That's Tiller, Dirty Hippo, and Liam Y. But I'm looking at the situation with VRL Keiran and Tiller. 13 laps to go. Can Keiran survive on 18-lap-old hards if he goes the whole way? And likewise, can Tiller survive on 20-lap-old hards if he decides to stay out there? Is it likely for both of them, or is it likely for one of them, or neither of them?
If you go watch Craig quickly,
you
can see how bad he's graining on his
Oh
front
yeah, on the left,
again.
on the left, yeah, you can see it on the left instantly.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so you could probably attribute like the fuel, like heavier fuel, higher tyre wear, right? So like maybe attribute that the car's a little bit lighter. You can probably do 16. I'd say Keiran can probably do 16 to get to the same condition that Craig's 15 tyres are on. So I think he can do it.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Because he's going to see Chizzy go in, he's going to see Tiller go in, because obviously they won't be able to stay out for too long. Then it's a question of, okay, Keiran can probably get to lap 27 with these tyres. Does he then just say, I'm going to risk it and stay out on those last 2 laps to keep ahead of Chizzy and Tiller, or will he maybe time a pit? Will he try and go in at the same time that Tiller's going in? That would be ideal, wouldn't it? Because Chizzy's obviously going to go in beforehand.
I need to go on board with Kane and kind of see how he's driving here, because like he doesn't particularly look to be pushing, so I think that kind of strategy alluded to where he's squeezing them up, and he knows he's got the best condition, and then all he has to do is just go in the lap after they do, because he can floor it and they can't. So he's going to, you know, in clean air, he's going to be able to pull time on both of them, and then he goes in the lap after, providing he just doesn't get that 10-second time penalty. That's his best chance at winning this race. So, how many seconds has he got, like, total, penalty-wise? So yeah, both on 3. No idea what the warning situation is. 6 is probably race over, but you might be able to pull 3 seconds on Tiller here. You've just got to wait for Kissy to start struggling, which in turn, you know, will make a gap between him and Tiller, and then after that, once I see Kissy start to struggle, that's when I start pushing. Absolutely leisurely battery usage. Tiller seems to be the only one out of the front 3 that's even remotely bothered about using their battery right now, so, and then, you know, it's just those 3.
That's a confusing one, by the way.
For the race.
Get your opinion on that one, Craig. Craig coming out on softs with 11 laps to go. That is incredibly strange to me. I don't know if that makes too much sense to you two or not, but that's quite perplexing.
No, I think that must be a mistake.
Yeah, that felt like a medium all day. That felt like he was going to go to mediums, but come out in softs. That is a potential nightmare for him. He's going to have to pit again. I don't know how many.
Maybe he didn't have fresh mediums, in which case, you know,
maybe.
used mediums are not going to take you to the end. So maybe he's just like, okay, screw it, I'll do soft then.
Yeah, I wonder if with the lighter fuel load that maybe.
Well, Tiller's going in. Give you that one quickly. Tiller's going in and Chizzy has gone in as well. So Keiran's still out there, but 2nd and 3rd place as of right now in 12 lap old hards for Chizzy being replaced in 10 lap old. And then, there you go. Both of them going on fresh hards here. They are very much now going to just try and gun this out with those 10 lap old hards, and you'd think maybe if Shadow Gunners is going to try and maybe do the same thing. A little bit disappointing from the Aston Martin today. Bench warmer 1 lap old hard, so you'd think he's going to maybe gain some positions because people coming out with new tyres, but again, I said that he just pops into 8th place because of the pits there.
As well, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say Hippo onto softs. Couple of mediums now showing their head. Yeah, and you can see it definitely was a mistake because Craig goes in and takes in mediums. That's going to butcher his race by, which is a shame because he's raced so brilliantly tonight.
Yeah, that's without a safety car. That's probably him out of it, even with all these time penalties. I mean, there is a chance. Like, you got to think some of these guys do need to pit again, and he was ahead of quite a few cars. So, you know, Liam's going to have to go in. Class is going to really struggle to get to the end. He's
14 lap mediums would. Yeah.
So that's like 4 cars ahead of him that maybe need to go in. So it's a chance you can get points.
Hippo's going to have to go in as well. I think it's a mistake from Hippo.
Yeah.
If we're saying it's a mistake from Craig, it's got to be a mistake from Hippo as well. So there's another one to that list as well. Yeah, the intrigue coming into the final kind of 9 laps then very much there. On the mind. It's also interesting because you know you kind of have the feeling of the top 3 being Keiran, Chizzy and Tiller, but you're also looking at Adversary, you're also looking at Neddy, TRC Victory, 9 laps to go would put Adversary on what would that be, 16 lap old hards. That won't survive it, I don't think. And I'm also interested to see how Keiran navigates this, because if Keiran makes a bad mistake or a bad decision here, pits too early, pits too late, this could completely implode his race. So pit strategy from Keiran, he's got to have some sort of clue in his own head as to what he's doing. He can't just be winging it here. There's very slight, I'm going to say very slight degrading on the left wheel of Keiran here. You can see that kind of clearly now as we're on to those 9 lap old hards. Realistically, I think he's got maybe 5 laps in him. Do you think there's a possibility he gets to lap 25 here, Connor, and then he puts on the softs and guns it for the final 4, or would that be a crazy strategy for you?
I mean, no, that's a way to get, you know, it's definitely a way to get fastest lap. I wouldn't put it past him. And the other thing I was going to say to you that could be very, very important for this race right now is Kissy and Tiller pitted at the same time, and there's now 3 cars between them. So Tiller
the
needs
thing,
to
isn't
get
it?
a move on.
It's the thing as well,
So,
though, is for those cars
yeah.
ahead of him, how many of them are going to be confident to go with 15 lap old hards? You know,
It's not even that. It's the gap between Kissy that I'm worried about.
that's
Because
fair.
now Kissy's got an opportunity to get 3 seconds ahead of Tiller. If though, he can't get through the 3 cars ahead. I mean, Kissy's just made a double overtake to go into second, so...
Also, just got the fastest lap time as well.
Yeah.
What is
Now
that? We
that
saw
it's just
another
Kissy
penalty.
and clean air, and now you're going to see how much 8-lap difference tyres actually makes, and by the looks of it, it's going to be about a second a lap. So, I'm Keiran, and I've got a set of mediums, or even a set of hards at this point. I'm going on, as long as they're fresh.
Reminder on the penalties here as well. Keiran with 3 seconds, Chizzy with 3 seconds, 6 seconds for Adversary, 9 seconds for Neddy, 6 for Victory, 6 for Benchwarmer, 6 for Rye, 15 seconds for DJ Class, 6 seconds for DZR, 3 seconds for Hippo, who just gets 1 now. Shadow's going to with 3, Craig with 6, and Liam with 3. The only clean drive with no penalties tonight so far. Tiller is the only man surviving, but there you go. So it's again, it's intriguing because there's so many conversations at various points in the grid. The top 3, the middle of the pack, the back of the pack, who's going to make the top 10. All of that very much being in the conversation point. And for Keiran, surprising from you then, Batty, that based on what you just said, he didn't go in there, sticking with those hards.
Yeah, I mean, that says to me he doesn't have fresh mediums, so
Well, Adversary is going in, by the way, Batty, sorry to cut you off. Adversary is going in.
No problem.
You would think 7 lap softs, is that doable? I'm interested to see what
this is medium or hard. He did say he was going medium, hard, so about, fresh
medium
set
it is,
mids going on now,
Called that one brilliantly.
But yeah, he said he was going medium, hard pre-race, but then I think a lot of these guys expected that because that's normally like the optimal strategy around here. But as I say, a sprint weekend puts the spanner in the works. You've got to come up with new things to do, and that's the reason I like them, is because it has such a adverse effect on the whole grid, like the whole weekend. You see weird results, you see weird tyre strategies that people have to make work. Like, I can almost guarantee you Keiran hasn't got mediums, because if he did, he would have gone in last lap. I don't think there's any way that, he holds that gap to Kizzy. Like, with how we've seen these hards kind of just fall off a cliff after like 15 laps. You saw green, like a wee bit of green now. I haven't checked this lap, but it's going to be way more visible than it was, so let's have a look. Yeah, right.
You're looking at Kieran's wheels, are you?
Yeah.
You can see it on the left when he makes certain turns because of the lighting of it. You can see it's not brilliant. And when he slows down here, you see little speckles of white on the wheel, which I think you would attribute to degrading of the tyre. But a 10-second penalty for DJ Class speeding in the pit lane. Carry on, Dan,
you can tell as well that he's conscious of those tires, but he's also conscious of the fact that he's got 6-7 laps to go and a 21-second.
6-7.
Just.
The thing is, though, he's an increasing delta. You're probably losing 3 tenths a lap now, minimum, and then in 4 laps time, that's going to turn into like 3 seconds. So
But I think, if it's 3 seconds a lap in 3 laps time, that's still nowhere near losing the position. So I think Kieran's he's got to keep his head and just understand, nurse the tires to the end, don't do anything crazy, no quality laps for the rest of the race, just get the car across the line, and he's back on the top step of the podium. A place that he hasn't seen in a while, and he desperately needs to see if he's going to be right back up there for the championship.
The thing I can tell you as well that I've just noticed, I'm keeping track of this, is that Keiran in the last 2 laps has lost 3 seconds. So he had a 23-second lead over Chizzy before. I think he's 20 seconds in the pits. Is that going to be enough, or if he pits now, is he going to get overtaken? I don't really know how long a pit stop is going to cost him here.
I would not recommend pitting at this point. He's going to be... The problem is that even if he pits, he's going to lose out to Chizzy, but also...
On track out a fucking time penalty, so
yeah,
it's pretty
he's
good
got
going.
time penalties. Tilla doesn't.
Mm.
So that's another position potentially gone. And, you know, you take another penalty, then you're talking, okay, well, now Netty's breathing down his neck. Now, it brings Bench into the game. And it's just way too big of a risk. You see the state of the tires, a little wobble out of the final corner.
I mean, this is going to be a real test for Keiran.
It's going to be close.
We talked about Keiran needing to kind of improve his composure and improve his mentals in terms of racing to win. This is going to be the ultimate test tonight, because I personally think he should have done what Batty said about 4 laps ago and went in for those mediums. I think that was absolutely the correct decision, and he ignored that. Now he's out there. He's just got to take this one nice and steady and make those 19 seconds not be too few, if you want to say it that way. A reminder, of course, as well, Rai takes another 3-second penalty that takes him up to 9 seconds. This kind of conversation of who's going to finish in the top 10, who's going to finish in the points here is going to go down to that final lap. Realistically, you are saying, though, that the top 3, whether that order changes or not, looking likely to be the 3 people that finish in podium positions here tonight. Benchwarm was done brilliantly as well to get back into 5th position at this minute in time. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Dirty Hippo as well, doing well to get back into 9th, also in the points there. Adversary 6 seconds of penalties will probably mean that he's not going to be able to kind of keep up and break in. But I think your noise suppression's turned off, by the way, because you are heavily breathing down the mic.
Apologies.
That's
What the
all right.
fuck that's happened.
Yeah, that's Xbox for you. If the game bar don't work, the noise suppression ain't going to work.
You only get one or the other.
Yeah, clearly. That's why they're upping the prices to £700 a month for Game Pass. Get in there.
You still hear the Darth Vader, I don't know.
No, we're all fine now.
Right.
TRC Victory taking another 3-second penalty as well. Again, he's got to be careful, but again, so does these that are 14-lap-old hards. So it's going to be a real tricky one to nurse. I think we have to stay on Keiran here for these final 3 laps, because although he's got such a lead, it is about whether or not these tyres pop, whether or not he goes and has an incident on a corner. He's going to need to take this one so steadily.
Yeah.
And you can see when
how
he's...
far is he round? He's got... Trying to figure out, he's going to have 3 laps to go when he gets over the line, so he's got what, 3.3 laps to go. Kissy's going to need to average cutting away 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be about...
lap.
Yeah,
So,
and it's looking like it's between 2 and 3 seconds a lap currently, down to 16 seconds ahead. Now, of course, these penalties that Keiran and Chizzy have are both offset. They both have 3 seconds each. So the one thing Keiran doesn't want to do is lose the time to Chizzy and then take another penalty for cutting corners or whatnot. But so you can definitely see when Chizzy is slowing down or taking a corner or is at his braking point, you can see in the left wheel in particular that there's graining and degrading of the tire that is happening. But right now, everyone is locked in. No one seems to be shifting up or down a position in the table as Neddy eats another 3-second time penalty. And that's kind of what we expected, Dan. You know, you said it was going to be a lot more of a linear track, and that's the case. As I say that, Benchwarmer has just taken over Neddy. But again, it wouldn't have really mattered anyway because of the severe amount of penalties that Neddy has. Benchwarmer was always going to get that 4th place position. Okay, conversation on that as well, Dan. If it is to end this way tonight and Benchwarmer does take 4th place, excuse me, a great race last week, a great race this week. He's consistently now a top 5 driver for you, or is this just a purple patch for him?
No, I think his consistency, going back to last season and continuing into this season, has always been kind of something. He's never gonna find himself, looking at maybe a driver's championship, but I think him and Shadows, with Shadows improving as he has in the kind of the break that we had between the 2 seasons, and to really start off this first half of the season well, The two of them have Aston Martin in a great position. They're tied with the Ferraris for second in the constructors, and they're only 17 points back of Red Bull at the very top. So I think that those two guys as a team are in great shape, and I think they're both playing their part to get the Astons where they want to go, and that's the top step of the constructors.
And a question for you, the only man today without a penalty on the grid in Tiller. Third place is still fantastic for the quality of driver that's on the grid, but where did Tiller go wrong in regards to not winning this race with, all the penalties, with Keiran staying out there on 17-lap-old hards? Like, why? What could Tiller have done better?
The only mistake Tiller made, I can't remember. I was definitely thinking it, but I can't remember if I said it. Is he responded to Keiran? He responded to Kissy and not Keiran.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he had gone out, if he just responded to Keiran, I think he's in a really good spot. But even if he just stays out another lap. But then also, he got quite unlucky coming out, with the two Mercedes between him and Kissy. If they come out right next to each other, he's got second this race easy. So yeah, he got a bit unlucky when he pitted. I don't know whether he always had the plan to pit that lap or it was a split-second decision. I imagine it was a split-second decision because most of the time you kind of look on your MFD thing and it will tell you if you pit where you're going to come out, and then you can kind of get a judge, look at the track map and see how big a gap there is in that kind of position, and you can pre-plan ahead. So judging by that, I think he's just responded to Kissy, but yeah, he got very unlucky not coming out and having those two cars in between him and Kissy there. But I mean, you'll take third. Like, it keeps you in the hunt. Yeah, you've lost some points to Kissy, but it's not. He hasn't won the race, so we haven't lost as much ground as you could have.
It's fair. Well, I mean, listen, Keiran has done a good job here in maintaining his calmness, keeping his head, and it does look like tonight he is going to go and not only win the Qatar GP, but head back to the top of the constructors. So, unless I'm completely wrong there, but another 3-second penalty there for Shadow Gunners, who again will be disappointed with how many penalties he's taken tonight. Definitely a penalty-rich track here at Qatar. But there is your confirmation. Race week 5, and Keiran, 19-lap-old hards he survives on. Again, if you give Keiran, 19-lap-old hards last week or a month ago, maybe he would have spun out and capitulated, but he's kept calm, and he's got over the line here today to finish first place. And, of course, for Chizzy, it's another second-place finish. And for Tiller, he also completes the podium in third. A great night, of course, for bench warmer, apart from maybe those penalties. But luckily enough, everyone else on the grid here tonight had a tough one. Rye in the end, because of his lack of penalties compared to Neddy, pips Neddy to fifth. Neddy, of course, finishing sixth. So that's great for the Mercedes tonight, 6th and 7th. A great night of racing from TRC Victory in particular, I'll have to say. Usually someone that struggles to get into the top 10, but he's had a great night tonight. The Merc there, the Merc as a team, they're getting some valuable points. Shadow Gunners, of course, so filled with praise for him recently, but 8th place this season for him. 9th place for Adversary, who's in the points, as does Dirty Hippo. 10th place for him. For Craig, it was that mistake, wasn't it, coming out on the softs rather than mediums? He would have to go and think tonight what could have been if he didn't make that mistake. Could he have been 6th or 7th? I think he could have been, but again, that's one that you have to learn from tonight. But a big congratulations to Keiran, who has once again maybe made this season very exciting, very competitive as we head into race week number 6 next week. Where are we next week, Dan? I've been Ed viciously about Dan. It's fine. That's it. Don't worry. It's just because Dan's still scarred that he can't finish first in NASCAR. It's fine. But wherever we are next week in the world, it will certainly be an interesting one. Again, even before we hit the grid, will Keiran be there? Will Keiran be there? He's got a Brazilian sleeping pattern, but will he be active and awake for that race is always the question leading up to it. But for tonight, back on top, and once again leads the way as the standard in the league. So congratulations to him. And for Tiller, commiserations, but also big props to him. The only driver today on the grid to not eat a penalty. Only one in the end, Batty, not finishing. So 3 didn't finish in the sprint, 1 didn't finish in the race. It's not a bad total whatsoever.
No, not so.
As
Yeah.
Are we going to get the leaderboard, or is this going to bug out as well? Oh,
I
there we go.
just
Thank
spammed
God.
A, so I got
Oh,
through. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get it. So as long as you got it, then we're
Yeah.
fine. Anyway, of
Yeah.
course, fellas, remember, any issues from the sprint, any issues from the main race tonight, please send them in to the FIA. The boys over there will handle that and sit on it and get on it. And yeah, we'll see you for Brazil next week. A long night of racing tonight, nearly 2 hours of the sprint and then, of course, the grid. So you get some sleep. We'll see you tomorrow for VFL UFC.